Yes, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to this session of transportation engineering. Today we'll be seeing this topic, National Urban Transport Policy. Basically, as all the countries want to improve their economic development, so they should come up with some good transport policies to increase the economic growth. So in India also we are very much concerned about economic development as well as the various developments related to it. So you can see here India is poised for rapid economic growth, and India's urban population is currently around 30% of its total population. You can just see here 30% of India's population is related to urban population. Now you can understand the 30% of population as it is an urban population. So we need to go for a very good transport system so that this 30% can cater to demands, can improve. If this transport network is improved, then this 30% this 30% which includes big business centers as well. See, the rest of the 70% are rural areas. From the rural areas, these urban areas are connected. So if these urban areas which have big business structure here, they should have a good road network, and to get this good network, it is very important we should come up with a good national policy which can increase all the requirements. You can see India's urban population would grow to about 473 million in 2021 and 820 million by 2051, as against only 285 million in 2001. You can just see here how the population is increasing with a very rapid growth. It was only 285 million in 2001, and in just 20 years it is amounting about 3 times more. It is increasing to about you can see here 285 to 473. It is almost about 2 times more. It is increasing in just 20 years. So when the population is increasing to such a big level, there is a very big need. We should come up with a sophisticated and a very good road network which can cater to all the demands, related to it. You can see here, for urban areas to be able to support the required level of economic activity, they must provide for the easy and sustainable flow of goods and people. So you can understand, as the population is increasing, the demand will increase, the need for the goods will increase. Now to cater this demand, we also need to have a good supply. Now to get a good supply, we should have a very good road network which should connect from rural areas, from the village roads to the major district roads, from the major district roads to the state important towns or cities, and from there, from the important cities and towns to the state highways, and from the state highways to the national highways, and then to the entire country. So as the population is increasing day by day, it is need of the hour to come up with a very good road network and come up with a very good national policy where the government, the state government and the central government act actively in improving the condition of the improving the condition of the roads, and catering to the demand of the people as well. So it is very important a national road policy which should come up, which should be very good, and should provide economic growth as well to those places as well as the whole state. You can see here, Government of India has launched the National Urban Renewal Mission. So they have launched a renewal mission that inter alia seeks to bring about comprehensive improvements in urban infrastructure. Now looking at this need, government has come up with NURM, the National Urban Renewal Mission, where they have found that the data has been founded and the analysis has been done, which says that it is very important we should come up with some improvement in the urban infrastructure. So as these improvements, if we have if these urban places are improved, which in turn will be related to improvement of rural areas as well. And the next best thing what will happen is what type of improvement will take place. You will have a good access to jobs, you will have good access to education, recreation, and similar activities become increasing time consuming. Now what is happening if we don't come up with a good system? The problem will be, you can see here, the accessibility to jobs and education and recreation will become very difficult. So, and this will have adverse effects on other sectors as well. You can see at some places where because of not good connectivity or not good travel mobility is there, some other sectors are also facing loss because of this. As there is urban development, there will be development in education and recreation, other things also. So it is very important. We should come up with some solution where all these things which are interrelated should be able to get the need, should be able to fulfill the needs. You can see here, while the population of India's 6 major metropolises increased by about 1.9 times during 1981 to 2001, the number of motor vehicles went up to over 7.75 times during the same period. You can just see, though the population is increased to just 1.9 times, but the number of motor vehicles, the number of users of motor vehicles have gone up to 7.75 times. This is a matter of concern. You can just see the number of users are increasing day by day, and it is just a huge amount of people are using the motor vehicles. So just not only to cater the people's needs, it is very important. It is very important. If we don't see these things at this time only, then there might be a very big problem, and this might lead to a very big collapse as a big system as well. So the number of motor vehicles users have increased 7.75 times. You can next see here, travel in the city has become more risky, with accident rates have gone up from 1.6 lakhs in 1981 to over 3.9 lakhs in 2001. You can just see here about it has increased twice more than that. As the number of motor vehicle users are increasing, even the number of accident rates have also gone up. So we need to come up with some solutions where we can reduce these accident rates as well. It is very important. It is very important. See, though the development, if the development is not done properly or the maintenance is not done properly, then there are risks to lives as well. You can see it has gone up about 2 times more. You can see the number of persons killed in road accidents has also gone up from 28,400 to over 80,000 during the same period. See, it is 3 times or 4 times more. It is about 3 to 4 times more the number of people who are getting killed on these roads. So we need to come up with a good road network, as well as we need to see the safety of the citizens as well, safety of the people who are using this as well. So it is very important. We should come up with a very systematic policy wherein it can improve the road development as well as save the lives of people also. You can see this again has tended to impact the poor more severely, as many of those killed or injured tend to be cyclists, pedestrians, or pavement dwellers. Now what is it? The road development, okay, it is taking place. It is improving. 2 lanes are made 4 lanes, and 4 lanes are improved to 6 lanes, and 6 to 8 as per the need. That is happening, and many expressways are coming up, and state highways are being developed, national highways are being developed, and even the urban roads are being developed. But what about the safety of the people? You can see the most of them affected are not those who are using motor vehicles, but they are those who are cyclists or pedestrians or pavement dwellers. So there should be something where this can be stopped. We should come up with a solution where these lives, the loss of these lives can be saved. So you can see here, increased use of personal vehicles has led to increased air pollution also. See, you can see the other effect also. There is one more other effect. Now, though we are providing good road network, but the increase of personal vehicles has led to increased air pollution. You can see here what is happening in the whole world. It is a very it is a matter of concern where many countries are thinking of coming up with some planning where they can reduce this pollution level. As in Delhi, it had come out, in Delhi, it is the most polluted city in India as of now. When there was during this lockdown, when there was COVID-19 and lockdown was there in the country, and because of that there was no air pollution, the pollution levels have dropped to a very big amount. So even air pollutions are increasing day by day because of increase of personal vehicles. You can see a poor mobility can become major dampener to economic growth and cause the quality of life to deteriorate. Poor quality, now poor mobility, as I had told you, better good maintenance is also needed from time to time. It is not only if we have just come up with good road network, we have placed it and we are not looking back to it. It doesn't mean that. We have to keep on maintaining these things. If we don't maintain them, then there is high, you can see here, it is lowering the economic growth also. Next, you can see a policy is therefore needed on the approach to dealing with this rapidly growing problem. So all these are the problems. We need a policy where we can deal with. We can see the maintenance of the roads as well. We should try to reduce the accident rate as well. We should come up with a good road network as well. We should be able to cater to demands of the people living in those areas, in the urban areas as well. So all things should be maintained simultaneously. Improvement should be there, economic development should be there, as well as loss to life should be reduced. Everything should be done in a proper manner. Therefore, a national policy is very much required at this stage. We can just see here. Now, India has come up with a national urban transport policy, and the vision of the national urban transport policy is to recognize that people occupy center stage in our cities, and all plans would be for their common benefit and well-being. So, the main center stage are the people. People should be benefit with these plans, because we are the main people who should get benefited from this. So we are the center stage and we should be benefited from these policies. Next, to make our cities the most livable in the world and enable them to become the engines of economic growth that power India's development in the 21st century. Some reports had come in the newspapers, and it was like some of the busiest cities in the world. In the top, some of the top cities, even Vijayawada had come in the top busiest cities in the world because of no proper road network, no proper channelizing of roads. That had come in the reports. So it is very important for economic growth. We want our country to grow economically. We want our country to have good jobs and everything. So it is very important. So to come up with a city which can improve the economic growth of the people and which will increase India's development. So this is the vision of National Urban Transport Policy. Further, they have come to allow our cities to evolve into an urban form that is best suited for unique geography of their location. So not only we should be provided with good road network which will increase the number of motor vehicles, but we should have a good geography also where people can have a good time for recreation also. All these are also important. So this is the vision. Now, objectives of this National Urban Transport Policy are, the objective of this policy is to ensure safe, as I told you, loss of life should be reduced, affordable. It should be also affordable. It shouldn't be costly also. See, we have come up with a good transport policy, but if it is not affordable and it is burning the pockets of the common man, then this transport policy won't stand for a long time. Next, it should be quick. The connectivity between the cities or between our destination, between our origin and destination should be quick. It should be comfortable also. It shouldn't be painful. Or reliable and sustainable access. It should be reliable and sustainable. At some places you must have seen some bridges which were not constructed properly, not maintained properly. That has led to collapse also. And this, what should be? It should create jobs. It should improve the education system. It should provide good recreation, and such are the needs within a city for growing number of city residents. As I had told you, people are coming to urban cities. It is increasing. 30% of the people live in the urban areas. So to improve this is the objective. We have come up with a good national transport policy, national urban transport policy. Now with this, incorporating urban transportation as an important parameter. Urban transportation is the important parameter. Though there is rural transportation, then we have village transportation also, but urban transportation should be given the biggest importance. Incorporating urban transportation as an important parameter at the urban planning stage rather than being a consequential requirement. Just not a basic requirement. It should be given the best importance, because everything from the cities is connected to the smallest village. So it is very important. We should have a very good network system which should cater to all the requirements of the people. You can see here to improve access of business to markets and the various factors of production. So the objectives are to increase the business of markets also. It should be connected in such a way, even in a village where there is which is a very small village, of a district. Even the main city should be tried to get connected to this village, where resources from those villages can be supplied easily to the cities, thereby which will create jobs to people of those villages as well. bringing about a more equitable allocation of road space with people rather than vehicles as its main vehicle. So we should come up with a road space also, allocation of good road space also, wherein the parking has been given, a different bylane for parking has been given, a different bylane for different pedestrians have also been given. So basically it should be divided in different bylanes also. Encourage greater use of public transport and non-motorized modes by offering central financial assistance for this purpose. Now what we should do is, now one thing is we have to reduce the air pollution. We should try to reduce the congestion. We should try to reduce the traffic jam. For that we should come up with some awareness programs wherein the people should try to use public transports. That is why Government of India has tried different come up with different schemes and provided different transport facilities. They had come up with the MMTS, then they have come up with the metro rail, which is providing very good access from one part of the city to other part of the city, and which is reducing the travel time as well, and which is reducing the congestion as well on the road. So some schemes should come, and that should, if it requires some financial assistance also, that should be taken up by the central government. You can see here we should come up with something, introducing intelligent transport systems for traffic management. Some intelligent transport systems for traffic management should also be applied. In a country, basically it was China, they have come up with a very good system. They have come up with the odd number plate travel day and an even number plate travel day. They have come up with a system in which motor vehicle users, if they have an odd number plate, like it is 2653, the last number is 3, they are assigned a day, alternate day. They should use their vehicles, odd number plate vehicles should use their vehicles on that assigned day, whether it is Monday, Wednesday or Friday, and even number plates. Let us take an example, 2462, the last number is even 2. So they should use an assigned day like Tuesday and Thursdays and Saturdays, so that they can reduce the number of vehicles accessing the roads. So some intelligent transport system should come up. Addressing concerns of road safety and trauma response also. Road safety, these awareness programs should be done from time to time, wherein awareness should be created to the citizen that road safety is very important. It is not only us saving our lives as well as saving the lives of others also. You can see reducing pollution levels through changes in traveling practices, better enforcement, stricter norms, technological improvement. So we should come up, the national transport policy objectives are to come up with, we have to reduce the pollution's level, because it is not only the vehicles which are creating the pollution, as well as there are different other industries also. So we should come up with some intelligent system wherein the pollution levels can be stopped. And one intelligent system is they have come up with the CNG also, CNG car. They have come up with CNG gas also, and they have come up with electric motorcycles also, wherein the battery is charged and it is fitted into the motorcycle, and it doesn't emit any carbon levels. So we have to come up with some good unique system, or we have to implement some stricter norms also, where the vehicle should be checked from time to time, so that it doesn't release greater levels of carbon. And technological improvements also done. We should come up with some good technology also, wherein the carbon levels are filtered to the most, and a very less amount of these gases are emitted into the environment. Raising finances through innovative mechanisms that tap land as a resource for investments in urban transport infrastructure. Some finances, some unique innovation should be made, wherein finances can be raised. Like a road near the users, commuters are given some restrooms at some places also, which can develop the finance, and some commuters are have been given some recreational spots also, wherein which will generate the finance also. We should come up with some innovative mechanisms. Associating the private sector in activities where their strengths can be beneficially tapped. So even the private sector should be used in this, where their strengths can be beneficially tapped, and that can be used for development of this transport policies and road system. Need for a national policies, although the responsibility for management of urban areas rests with the state state governments, a central policy is considered necessary. Though the state governments are related to it, but still a central policy is very necessary, because every state has the different aspects of seeing things, and their need, as per their need, they come up with some management policies. But a central policy should be made mandatory to all the states. So central policy is needed here because of this. Several key agencies that would play an important role in urban transport planning work under the central government. Key agencies should also be connected to the central government, where they come up with good transport planning work. Several acts and rules which have important implications in dealing with urban transport issues are administered by the several. So we should come up with several acts and rules as per the need, which play an important role in dealing with urban transport issues. So this is needed, and this should be maintained and looked after by the central government. A need exists to guide state level action plans within an overall framework. Basically, everything should be maintained by the central government, looking whether the state level governments are coming out, were applying or implementing those plans as decided by the central government or not. A body is needed here. You can see a need exists to build capacity for urban transport planning, has also developed as a professional practice. A big importance should be given, and a good planning is needed here, and it should be given professional importance. Importance should be given. A need exists to take up coordinated capacity building, research and information dissemination to raise the overall level of awareness and skill. So basically a good research is also needed to improve the overall awareness and skills also of drivers also. They, like in many countries, which their populations are increasing day by day, and their pollution levels are increasing, they have come up with many awareness skills, and they have come up with many good informative sessions, wherein the citizens are from time to time getting awareness of how to use and what are the consequences if we don't apply these rules, and the consequences might be very high. They can be life-threatening also sometimes also. The objectives of this policy would be achieved through a multi-pronged approach that would revolve around the measures highlighted. As I told you, it requires a multi-pronged approach is required, not only from one side. It should be, all these policies can be achieved, can be implemented if a multi-pronged approach is done from all the sides. You can see, what all should we do? We should integrating land use and transport planning. So cities in India vary considerably in terms of the population. We have different population in different cities, areas different, urban form is different. From one, if you see some of the cities of South India, though they are in urban areas, and some of the cities in the northern India, both of them are are urban areas, but still they are different from each other. So there is a very considerable change in them. Topography is also changeable. Economic activities, income levels, growth constraints, all are different. So cities, there are different. So depending on that place, depending on that state or that city, we should come up with some planning which will suit to that place, depending on that topography, depending on that economic activities, and depending on the income levels and the population and the different areas. We should come up with some good system which will suit to that area. Accordingly, the design of the transport system will have to depend on these city-specific regions. As I had told you, you can't apply the same thing to all the states. We should come up with some different specific features depending on the need of that area. Transport planning is intrinsically linked to land use planning also. Now, how the land is used, that is more important. At some places, we have a big land area, but still we can't come up with a better network because of the hurdles, because of that geographical part, some geographical part also. Now, if you see in the northern part of Himachal Pradesh, as it is very much above the sea level, you can't come up easily with a good road network there. You can't come up with big roads there. You can't come up with 4 or 6 lanes at some places. So depending on that area, a good planning is needed. An integrated master plan needs to internalize the features of sustainable transport system. A good master plan is needed depending on that area, because the master plan is the first thing, and depending on that master plan, all things are related one after the other. So a multi-pronged approach is needed. As I had told you, integrated land use and transport planning is very much important. You can see a transport planning has not received the extent of attention it should have in drawing up strategic development land use plans. It is a very unfortunate situation in a country. We had not given transport planning that importance. We had not given. If that importance would have been given, as we had already had good roads from the past, we could have come up with a very good system. But still, because of different hurdles and different importance of other things, we have neglected transport planning to a good extent. The Government of India would extend support for the preparation of such integrated land use and transport plans to an extent of 50% of the cost. Now this transport policy have come up. If you come up with a good plan, the Government of India, the central government, is ready to furnish or ready to put about 50% of the cost. The 50% should be bared by the state government. So if you come up with a very good land use integrated and you have a good system, the government is ready to pump in 50% of the cost. Radial corridors emerging from city and extended up to 20-30 kilometers should be reserved for future development. See, even this is there, a basic, we should come up with a master plan where the 20-30 kilometers around the city should be reserved. Like those places shouldn't come up with some industries which can't be moved away in future if required, because the urban areas are developing day by day. They are increasing. As you can see, our city also has increased. Basically, first it was Municipal Corporation of Hyderabad, then it is increased to GHMC, Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. So this was the need, so the city had increased. So basic from before, in future only, we should come up with some corridor where it should be reserved for future development. Next, let us see equitable allocation of road space. Road space gets allocated to whichever vehicle occupies it first. So basic, we should allocate everything to different users. You can't just put everyone in the same lane. A good by-lane should be provided to buses, some space should be provided to pedestrians as well, and some space to bicycle users as well, and for slow moving vehicles, fast moving vehicles, everything should be separated as per the need. Reserving lanes and corridors exclusively for public transport and non-motorized modes of travel. You can see here for public transport, an exclusive lane or reserving lanes should be, as I had told you, by-lanes should be provided. At some places there are good bus lanes, by-lanes provided for buses also. Priority to use of public transport. Public transport occupies less road space and causes less pollution per passenger kilometer than personal vehicles. A simple thing is, nowadays as we have come up, everybody has their own motor vehicles. In a four-wheeler, only one person is traveling. On a two-wheeler, only one person is traveling. Can we come up with something as a transport system, a carpooling system, wherein these people who are occupying only one single seat and they are using so much of space of the road as well as emitting so much of carbon, why can't we come up, we should come up with some transport policies where the people should use public transport rather than using the personal transport vehicles. So thus some policies should come and some awareness should also be done wherein people use these public transport. We should come up with some unique ideas, or we should reduce the amount of using this public transport. Some idea is necessary. The central government would promote investments in public transport as well as measures that make it use more attractive than in the past. So central government is ready to promote some investments so that public use, people use the public transport rather than using the personal vehicles. And this will reduce the congestion, this will reduce the pollution, this will reduce the travel time of many people as well. So it is very important. A good awareness system, a unique idea should come up wherein people shift to using of public transport rather than using their personal vehicles. They should adopt a technology that would best suit the city requirement in the next 30 years. We should come up with a technology which can use which will suit the city's requirement in the next 30 years. That is why government is coming up with metro rail projects in most of the major cities, which is long lasting, and though the investment is very high, but the government has seen it can be used till the next 30 years. So some technologies like this are very much important. Some bus vehicles are coming up with CNG also to reduce the pollution level. So some unique transport policies are very important. Quality and pricing of public transport, as I had told you, for people to use the public transport, we should see we should reduce the fares. We should do something. You can see fares for public transport have been set on the premise that this mode of travel is used by the poor. Nowadays, this public transport is only used by the poor. What about the middle class? There is a high level of middle class which uses their personal vehicles. We should come up with some policies where these people also try to use these public transports. This has resulted in most public transport systems being unable to recover the operating cost. Yes, this has happened because of not coming up with some innovative measures to improve the public transport system, to not cater to the needs of the people. This is happening. Public transport system are unable to recover even the operating cost. They are not able to receive and they are running into losses. The government has to pump in funds for that. So this problem is being faced. It helps reduce congestion and air pollution if users of personal vehicles can be persuaded to shift to public transport. So as I had told you, the congestion can also be reduced, air pollution can also be reduced if we are persuaded for public transport also. To ensure that the fares charged are fair and reasonable, the central government would require that a regulatory authority to be set up by the state government. As I had told you, if we reduce the fares, many citizens using the public transport can be increased and the personal vehicles can be reduced, which will lower the air pollution as well as noise pollution, and the congestion can also be reduced, and even this can reduce the accident rates as well. You can just see here technologies for public transport. Electric trolley buses have been running in San Francisco. They have come up with electric trolley buses where because of this there is no air pollution is being reduced here. New bus rapid transit system have become popular in cities like in Bogota, that is Colombia, and in Brazil. So rapid transport systems have also come up here. The central government would therefore encourage all proven technologies and not promote any specific technology. So central government should promote all the proven technologies which are being used by other countries, wherein we can pump in all these technology and improve the transport system. You can see a priority to non-motorized vehicles should be given. Statistics show that share of bicycle trips out of total trips in Delhi has declined from 17% in 1981 to 7%. You can just see here the use of bicycle has come up to such a big extent. What is happening? What is happening? We should come up with some awareness where people use bicycle for their improvement of their health as well. The segregation of vehicles moving at different speeds would help improve traffic flow. We have to segregate different speeds also. So it should come up with. We should come up with, you can see, create facilities like shade giving landscaping, provision of drinking water and resting stations along bicycle corridors would also be encouraged. If we come up with some resting stations also and provide good drinking water and all the necessities which are required by the commuters, then bicycle corridors and that can be improved. The central government would give priority to construction of cycle tracks and pedestrian paths in all cities. That has come up with National Urban Renewable Plan. You can see here parking. Land is valuable in all urban areas. We should come up with some parking places where people can park their place and do not occupy the lanes, which will lead to congestion here. For that, we should come up with high parking fee and of the land occupied. Multi-level parking complexes should be made a mandatory requirement. In big business centers where there are a lot of parking is done, we should come up with good multi-level multi-level parking complexes also. You can see here appropriate changes in the bylaws would be considered to free the public carriageway and parked vehicles that impede the smooth flow. Some bylaws should come and high fee should come up where the public who park their vehicles on the road should be stopped here. You can see a free traffic also is increasing day by day. Economic activities in city expand, and because of this free traffic is also improving. Many cities have earmarked late night hours for the movement of freight and restrict the entry of heavy vehicles. As we know, heavy vehicles are not given chance to enter in the city, and they commute only in the night. So several cities have bypasses also to reduce this traffic also. You can see use of cleaner technologies. Compressed natural gas have been adopted in bikeway for bus transport in Delhi. White petroleum based fuels are also most commonly used. Electric vehicles have already entered the market for cars and auto rickshaws. So new technologies are coming up and we have to use them so that we reduce the pollution level and other things also. You can see here. Next thing, several vehicles on our roads tend to be poorly maintained and are over polluting. So all these things have to be seen up where we can reduce the pollution level, we can increase the economic growth, and all these improvements can be done if all these things are placed in a proper manner, are implemented in a proper manner. This will increase the economic development as well as very changes. Thanks a lot. We have seen this session. Thank you for patient listening. I hope this information this session was informative to you. Thanks a lot.